the score.
We're gonna win. Twins, what's that baseball song?
The Twins have had their first big test. They're undefeated in 2 spring training games. I believe they play Atlanta today at noon Central Time.
Yes.
And Twins Tuesday is powered by the Score North app today. So get this, March is Score North's Pick Your Prize month. So every day, starting on March 8th, next Monday, every day between March 8th and March 26th, one person who has the Score North app every single day will win $100. We're going to just give you $100, and we'll tell you more in a second. That person who wins $100 every day will also be entered into a $10,000 Pick Your Prize pack of grand prize from one of our 9 partners. So here's how you can enter starting March 8th, every single day. You can open the Score North app. It's free to download on Apple and Android devices. You register, and you can enter the Pick Your Prize contest through Listener Rewards in the app. Examples of $10,000 prize packs, for instance, let's see here, Minnesota Shower and Bath. They'll essentially redo your bathroom, a Kohler Luckstone shower. Park Dental will give you Invisalign plus a trip to the Wisconsin Dells. Like, there's all kinds of cool things. You can find out more about them through the Score North app. Pick your prize. Now that we've had 2 Twins games to digest here, and boy, it's nice to have baseball back with fans cheering.
Haven't seen them yet, though.
Well, Declan and I have to find ways at some point. If this is going to linger into the regular season, like Declan and I have to find a way to make this happen.
Shout out to all the DMs I got last night, because my 2 main means to watch the WoW game were not working for me during the first period, and a flurry of Mackey and Judd and Score North supporters were out here to help out their favorite new EP. So thank God.
How can I say this without incriminating? Did the usual go-to way, did that ever come back? Or?
Yes, it came back by the second period.
Okay. Sometimes it does that.
Because the normal way I watch, the go-to way, is very, very solid. That's been a first-line center leadoff hitter
the one that I used to? Okay.
Yeah, I love that one. But the other ones I had to use I had this platform. So thank God.
The thing I love about it is, like, there's no pop-ups.
Nope.
I mean, why would there be? It's a legitimate site.
Right.
And then they've got the alternate feed too. So you can, if the first one's not working, there's the
Homer
alternate
Road
feed
or something like that.
Sometimes you get a Turkish
what?
language feed.
I've been purposefully watching the opposing broadcast. The Vegas broadcast last night was great.
You know what the problem is?
Very refreshing.
Fox Sports North has not telecast a Twins game yet. So if you're blacked out or not, or you stream or not, don't matter. We don't get a game till Wednesday.
Yep. So that's the hook here, is that we haven't actually gotten to sit down and watch 18 innings, or I guess it would be 13 innings? So they played 7, and then the Rays just decided
to play 6.
The Rays have just decided we're a 6-inning franchise now. Our
this
starting pitchers only go 5 or 6.
They are making up. They are literally making up the rules on length of game as they go.
So instead of what have we learned, and by the way, just as we did last year, and this hopefully will be a full season, we are your place, Mackey and Judd, for daily Twins discussions as soon as we can actually watch games on a regular basis. Daily Twins discussions. We break Twins games down like they are football games. No game is going to escape our deep dive into the intricacies. So instead of breaking these 2 games down, which we weren't able to watch, what are some things, let's go around the room a couple times, some things that you are most curious about here now that we are into actual spring training games? Judd?
I am most curious about, among other things, Josh Donaldson's actual playing time. Like, in the spring.
I don't think he's played yet.
Right? I don't think he's going to play much, which, by the way, is absolutely fine. I'm not criticizing it. What I'm saying is it's imperative that they keep him healthy, and it's imperative that he can play as much as possible as the season progresses too. And I am fairly certain that the approach with him is going to be very different than it was going into 2020. So I am really curious, not so much for spring training games, but I am really curious as we get into the start of the season, how much he plays, how they spot his playing time. Does he DH at times? Because the one thing that you cannot afford to do is have him on May 1st, right? Strain the calf again or something. And now it's going to be a season-long problem.
I'm literally going to be this will be a reference that only Declan gets. When Daniel Bryan came back from what was supposed to be career-ending neck surgery, and Edge came back from career-ending neck injury, I couldn't watch a Daniel Bryan match without just cringing every time he got picked up and thrown around.
That's Josh Donaldson.
That's how I am watching Josh Donaldson. Like every time he's going to come up to bat, every time a grounder is hit to him and he has to move to his left, the only thing I'm going to be thinking about is, oh my God, did he pop his calf? Is he out for 3 months?
Yeah.
You know, like at what point are you not going to think that? Probably never.
Never.
And I would worry that he's probably thinking about that on a regular basis too.
He volunteered up the fact that at his age, he has now changed how he's going to run, which to me is the worst thing possible. Again, I have covered so many stories where it's like, I have adjusted what I do. And it's like, no, dude, this always ends badly. So yeah, I'm going to take something. Got to keep him in there.
I'm going to take something that has come as natural as breathing to me for 35 years, and I'm going to change it consciously on the fly.
It doesn't usually work at that age.
Okay, something I'm going to be watching very closely, especially now that The Athletic is reporting that the Twins may actually not go down the service time conservation path. Alex Kirilloff's spring performance. He's only taken 2 at-bats. I think he's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. But I'm going to be watching to see how well Alex Kirilloff can hit the ball, can get on base, can play in the field. Because I think if the Twins have any reason to look at his game and say, ooh, needs a couple more minutes in the microwave, in the oven, just he's not quite done yet, they have a ton of incentive to hold him down until like the 3rd week in the season for service time reasons, so they can go from having 6 years of team control to a 7th year of team control. And The Athletic and Dan Hayes are saying, actually, the Twins are maybe gonna not do that.
Did you read the Falvey comments though?
Yeah,
they were very. I'm walking a tightrope here. Comments.
Well, yeah, like
because he's
especially after the idiot Mariners CEO came out and basically made it impossible for teams to do this now.
But my point is, like Hayes' piece to me came off with the Twins. With Dan asked the question, the Twins are like, "Oh, don't assume that, Dan."
Right.
But
like
I would put my money right now on Kirilloff being in St. Paul when the season starts.
And I think
for 15 games,
like in the grand scheme of things, is Alex Kirilloff, if he misses the first 3 weeks because they're going to manipulate service time or because, I'm sorry, he's not quite ready. Oh, we saw a few things in his first step, getting a jump on fly balls that need a little bit of work.
His work in the on deck circle sucked. Like the way he used the donut was all wrong.
Yeah, it's a little wobbly. It needs to be a little more snug on the barrel of the bat.
St. Paul's a good place to develop that.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to derail your season if you call him up and he's up from the 3rd week all the way to the end and he plays well. And there's a chance that he just might not be ready to. Like he's young still. But if you think it's going to be a close division race and the White Sox are maybe a step in front of you and you don't have the expanded playoffs this year, you don't have the luxury of sort of backing your way into the 8th seed and still playing a playoff series, like you need to be one of the 5 best teams in the American League.
Yep. If
it costs you a game or 2 and you miss out at the end of the year, I mean, you can talk about that 7th year of service time all you want, but right now is a chance for the Twins to win a playoff game for the first time since 2004.
I think the primary, if he is going to start the year here, I think the primary reason why is this. Common sense tells you that when they return to play at some point in time after they get a new agreement between the players and the league, common sense tells you that service time thing is going away. So you're going to probably try and manipulate something that's not going to be there. So I would probably, if I'm the Twins, take a look at that and say, my guess is one of the first things that's going to be excised from the agreement that they currently have is that, because it's one of the stupidest things in sports.
They could, this is just me speculating, but it's possible they could come to an agreement starting with the next draft class and say everyone who's been drafted is under this system.
Yeah.
And everyone who will be drafted or signed as an international free agent is under this system. All right, Declan, what are you on the lookout for?
I'm on the lookout for Brent Rooker. So Rooker hit a bomb, I believe, yesterday in yesterday's game or the last time out.
He does have a bomb for sure.
And he has some legit power, but he's 26 years old. He'll be 27 in November. Like this dude, that's old for AAA and being a first round pick and a top prospect. And he's been log jammed because it's not like he hasn't earned the right on the Twins roster because his play hasn't warranted it. It's because there's been a log jam of corner outfielders. You have Nelson Cruz at DH who can't play in the field. I'm just curious of, all right, if he doesn't make the team because he's not going to get every day at bats, that's fine. I guess I'd rather have him in St. Paul, and selfishly, I'd like to watch him in St. Paul. But at the end of the day,
with your cheaper beers,
with my $10 beers, send them all in the right field burn, totally enjoying life.
I don't know that they're going to be $10. I think they might be cheaper than that, Dex.
Even better. even better, Corona Hard Seltzer. I'll take that as well. I want to see what he can do, and I just don't want to be him being buried in the minor leagues because I think his bat can play. You saw a cup of coffee last year. He looked well in 7 games then before, I believe, had a forearm injury, ruined his season. I just want to see what this kid can do, and I just don't want to be buried in the minor leagues forever.
Yeah, it is like 26, 27. It's time to go at some point. He's one of those players too that this is really gonna be it for him, because once he gets out of this 6 years of team control system, he's gonna be like 33.
I think he's got the bat though. I think the bat plays, right?
I agree.
The glove does not play, but the bat plays.
Yeah, and honestly, even if he can just come up and hit left-handed pitching for a while, there's a use for Brent Rooker. There's no reason to start him off in the minor leagues. And in fact, if you have to start him off in the minor leagues, I think there's probably greater questions about whether he's actually a major league player. Period.
Correct.
So. Anything else you guys are?
Yeah, I've got
in?
one. I've got a nerd baseball geek thing that I think is going to be great fun to watch.
Okay,
and it's not a spring training thing, but it's going to be apparent day one when the season starts against the Brewers, right? Mm-hmm. In American Family Ballpark now or something like that. I hate this.
AmFam Park.
I hate this crap.
Yep.
Anyway.
We're changing the name of TCF Bank Stadium this year too, aren't they? They get bought out.
Yeah, they did.
TCF
but
got bought.
Yeah, they got bought by a Detroit banking firm or something like that.
Bank.
I have no idea.
Many stadiums.
There's a lot of changes coming on that campus, including the basketball coach. So, the geek thing that I am excited to see on day one of the season is: does the Andrelton Simmons signing and the Polanco move to second cause less shifting?
Wow, that's super
geeky. Because Donaldson. Well, here's the thing: Donaldson doesn't like to shift. He'll do it, but he would prefer not to. And I believe in his 1 year with the Braves, if I'm not mistaken, they didn't shift a ton. Now they did last year with the Twins here, but if you have a shortstop who's as good as this guy with the glove, do you need to shift as much? Because I always thought that they partially shifted a ton to help Polanco, because he really truly was not, that great at shortstop ever.
So I think you'll see less shifting and more shading.
Get those nerds!
No!
That's how you can trick Josh Donaldson. You can say, oh, yeah, for sure. We got rangy Andrelton Simmons. Polanco is a better second baseman defensively than Arise. We're definitely not going to shift as much. We're just going to shade you guys. We're gonna shade you.
Okay, coach, thanks.
Shade a little more. Keep shading just a little bit more.
Hey, I'm a shortstop now.
Andrelton, if we could just shade out in right field there. Just go out.
Yeah, Josh, can you go to shallow right field? That's not shading. Yeah, it is.
I mean, I think so. Josh Donaldson has been adamant that in playoff baseball, teams tend to get they tend to get a little bit too shift happy, and you're dealing with the hottest teams, the best hitters, and sometimes guys who are willing to, in the regular season, they're looking to hit a home run over everyone's heads, but in the postseason, they might be looking, because it's a win now game, to just poke a ball down the left field line. That the approach of hitters is going to be different. So I'm less concerned about the 162 games of defensive strategy and more, all right, can the Twins figure out a way when they get to the playoffs to just be a little bit less robotic? Can you think about the situation?
Maybe win a baseball game.
Like maybe don't pull your starter who's on fire after 90 pitches or whatever in the 5th inning. So there's your Twins Tuesday, boys. Spring training.
We're gonna win, Twins. We're gonna score. We're gonna win, Twins. What's that baseball score?
So is Bramer going to be doing all of the? Are they going to do like radio, Corey Provis and Dan Gladden?
Yeah. In fact, I think the first FSN game is going to be Wednesday at noon. I think against the Red Sox, and it's going to be a simulcast.
Okay,
but I don't care. I mean, I don't care if Bramer and Justin are back here in a studio. I don't care if they take the feed from CCO. I don't care what they do. Just show the damn games.
Yeah.
Like I'm paying. That's the thing. Xfinity and Fox, I'm sticking with you, okay?
You're still paying.
Yeah.
These jokers, they've bailed. They don't like your ass. I'm sticking with you, okay?
When does the Bally Sports North thing go into effect?
I think it's supposed to rebrand in the spring at some point in time.
Oh, okay.
It might be opening day of the. I wonder if it's going to be opening day of the baseball season.
They should do it in the middle of a spring training game. All of a sudden, you get back from the 5th inning break, and now it's like totally new
Bramer's
branding.
playing poker.
Bramer's got his
He's playing
Vegas
poker.
T-shirt on.
He's got dark sunglasses on. He and Justin are playing poker.
Every other word out of their mouth is some sort of gambling.
But
reference.
I'm sticking with you. Show me some baseball games, okay?
I have a Larry David moment for you guys.
Okay.
If you want to hear, before we get to Dex reviews, the Bachelor women's tell-all. in 60
Controversial.
seconds or less.
Last week, we got some pushback on Dex.
Well, I think
His
a lot,
reviews.
for what?
a lot of people push back that we
They didn't like
talk about the Bachelor at all on the show.
Yeah, they got very upset
Oh,
and
I
told
didn't
us to
see
do a
that.
separate podcast.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was really, really short.
We had
It didn't-
60 seconds.
and I know.
It's only 60 seconds.
60 seconds.
I'm not
You
criticizing
complain
you.
about 60 seconds? I mean,
No.
some people do, I guess.
We'll just let that one sit there for a
Alright.
second.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's
On to
the
your
point.
moment.
Okay, so as this is also sort of a show announcement, although I put this out on social media last week, a lot of people who are watching or listening to the show know that my wife and I are moving to Seattle, Washington in about a week from now, and I'm going to be a transplant Minnesota sports fan. So nothing changes on the shows. The reason why we're not making a big deal out of this is because literally nothing. We don't want to confuse people. Mackey and Judd, Purple Daily, Score North, everything is going to be the same. As you can see, if you've been watching our YouTube channels, a lot of our production is remote. During this pandemic, we have been forced and have also chosen to just do a lot of things differently production-wise. So nothing's going to change. But I bring it up because movers came to our place yesterday, and I had a really uncomfortable Curb Your Enthusiasm Larry David moment.
Okay.
So you guys, have you guys ever like worked with a moving company before?
Yeah.
Usually they come in pairs of a couple pretty young guys or gals or whatever. In this case, these two, by the way, these two guys were great. I won't say the name of the company. The company was great. I just don't want to, I don't want it to be about the company.
Yeah.
But these two guys were probably in their early 20s. Couldn't have been much more than like 21, 22. And so they were going about their business. They're taking boxes and they're doing their thing. And like 5 different times throughout the course of the morning, the lead guy comes up to me, socially distanced, and he says something along the lines of, "How are we doing? Are we doing a pretty good job? Is there anything that we can do differently?" And I'm like, "Oh, I mean, I don't know. You guys seem to be doing great. Just
Keep doing what you're doing.
keep doing what you're doing, right?" And part of me was thinking, is this your first move? Like, I don't know. You're the mover. Did you break anything? Have you broken anything yet? No. So the first couple times it was, he's just trying to take the temperature and see what's happening. And like 4 or 5 times he asked the question. And it's like, all right, okay. And I couldn't tell exactly what he was angling for. So we get toward the end, and like 90% of the stuff is in the moving truck. And we live in a building that has a service elevator. And so they had like 10 boxes piled up in the service elevator. And this was the last trip. And they were just taking their little lifter thing, right? And they're bringing the boxes out. And there's about 5 boxes left. And he turns to me and he says, "So how are we doing? Pretty good job?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's finish her strong." And he goes, "Okay, cool. Because if you think we're doing a pretty good job, just like gratuity is always appreciated."
Oh, no.
No.
Oh,
Well, that's not the Larry David moment.
Oh, how?
But it's coming. So, and of course, like,
Yeah.
I'm going to tip you. Yes,
It goes without saying. It goes without saying.
you shouldn't say it.
Yes.
Right?
It goes without
it
saying.
should be into the fee that you're paying.
Well, it should be that. Like I agree with that.
Take the guesswork out of it.
And it's not cheap to move things, especially when
No.
you're moving from Minneapolis
That's why
to
it should
Seattle.
be worked in. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's all right.
Wow.
The unspoken has now been spoken. And I'm sure if you put yourself in their shoes, a couple of young guys, they've probably had oblivious people stiff them before thinking, it's like part of the part. And I don't know, maybe they do I don't know how that works. But at no point in my mind was I not going to tip them.
Mm-hmm.
And so my response was, yeah, for sure. Like, you guys just give me your Venmo or your PayPal account and I'll hit you guys up for sure. And he goes, "Venmo or PayPal? I don't have Venmo or PayPal." And kind of like looks disgusted at me. Like,
Yeah,
I
how
don't,
dare you.
I don't have Venmo or PayPal. And I said, and so now I'm kind of like, I'm thinking out loud now. And I said, "Okay, no Venmo or PayPal." And I said, "Well, I don't have any cash." And I said it out loud because I didn't have any cash. And I'm just trying to like think through the ways that I could potentially give them a tip.
Sure.
And he goes, "Oh, oof," and turns around. And I was like, "What? Oof? Oof." And real quick, because bad timing, Declan had to answer a hotline there. I want to repeat that one more time.
I want to hear the punchline here.
Okay.
That was Pat.
Why is Pat calling in the middle of...
Because he cannot formulate a text message to just send to me. That's very easy
Pat,
to do.
we're doing our show!
Yes.
We'll get you in a second.
He will be on the phone, by the way, because he's at the game at spring training.
That's fine.
So,
That's fine.
Anyway, so what?
So,
So the
okay.
Venmo,
Right.
PayPal,
So-
he's disgusted.
So I said, oh, I'll just hit you up, Venmo or PayPal. Like, just give me your... And he goes, I don't have Venmo or PayPal.
Right.
And so out loud, I said, oh, I don't have any cash. And I'm kind of like out loud trying to solve the conundrum of, oh, do I have to go to an ATM? Is there some other way that like I can give these guys some money? Right. And when I said, I don't have any cash, he literally like his eyebrows go up and he turns around and he goes, oof.
And then walked out of the room?
Then walks away.
So, did he get a tip?
So, well, before I get there, a couple things. Now I'm kind of panicking like, oh my God, like these guys just did like 2.5 hours of work. They're young college kids. I don't have any cash.
I haven't had cash in 11 months.
Right. And I don't want to be a D and be
And
like,
how
why
much-
don't you have a Venmo account?
But
You're like 22. What are you
How
doing?
much cash were you going? Like, it seems to me that this would be a substantial tip, right?
Well, so I'll just tell you. So
Like, here's $5.
yeah. Well,
Thanks for moving me.
so now I'm thinking, okay, so he's disappointed
Go
that
get Wendy's.
he's mad at me that I don't have cash.
Yep.
He also has like 5 or 10 boxes still to take out there.
Oh boy.
I don't want them to have any incentive.
No.
Not that they would, but like
Whoops.
I don't want them to have any incentive to like maybe drop a box on accident because I don't have any money on me, right?
Your China broke, man. I'm sorry.
And then I'm thinking like, okay, if it's a normal in the Twin Cities move, maybe the tip is like, I don't know, 20 or 40 bucks or something. Well, I mean, we're trusting this company to take stuff, not a ton of stuff. We're kind of minimalist, but like to take stuff across to Seattle, right? So I want to give these guys like $100 each just to, I don't want to leave any, I don't want they're young dudes. I don't want to leave any sort of bad taste in their mouths, but I don't have the cash. And so I went into the office and I'm asking the woman at the front desk, do we have an ATM machine anywhere within walking distance? And like, I think there's a bank like down the street over there somewhere. So I went up and I found a checkbook, like literally like I have one checkbook left.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And there were 2 blank checks in the checkbook, 2 movers. And so I wrote out a check for each of them and brought it down. And I said, do you guys take checks?
Did they have any idea what check? They're
Dude.
probably like, I've never seen a check before, dude.
This dude looked at me when I brought a check down. He looked at me and he literally like eyed me up and down. And he goes, I guess.
Yeah. I can't.
Should
believe
I have
this.
been more prepared in that moment
No,
with cash?
But why?
No.
But I don't know. I don't get this. If you go out to eat, right? Like you give a tip because it's like $10 or something, right?
Mhm.
I don't understand.
Light tipper.
I don't understand, or $20. But the fact is, a move halfway across the country to me should not be a situation where you would ever have enough cash
Agreed.
to provide that tip. Like but what's the company thinking?
Yeah, I feel like there should be
Like,
some sort of.
You're leaving your guys on an island. And
Yeah.
what if you decide to stiff them?
I think at one point I even said, "Is there a way for me to just like write out a tip digitally? Like, do you guys have my card on file?" Nope.
What
I
the?
just wanted cash. Like, all right.
But like, are they gonna like abscond with your stuff?
I don't know.
And
No, I think they were happy. The mood was
Look, it's-
definitely more upbeat at the very end when they
You're-
saw that. Like he's
Yeah,
not just
you're-
giving us $5,
well, that's good.
giving us like $100
Your
each.
stuff
All right.
might not
Look
make
at
it to
Jeff and
Seattle.
Larry over here talking this one out, trying to figure out what the hell to do. I mean,
What do we do?
yeah, I did the right thing. Yeah, of course you did the right thing. That's absurd. That's absolutely absurd.
Now I will tell you, one time you guys ever use like 1-800-GOT-JUNK? Some of these
Yep.
companies where
My parents' house, I did. Yeah.
you pay them
Mhm.
to come take something
Yep.
from you. I didn't tip those guys.
Oh, okay.
Are you supposed to tip those
I
guys?
tipped those guys. Yep.
I'm paying you to take something from me,
I tipped
and I
those
have to tip
guys,
you.
and I gave them I had bottled root beer in the fridge because it was like a super hot
Well,
day.
that's
it was like
cool.
100
Oh, that's
degrees.
Here's a
very nice.
$5 bill and
Yeah.
some barks.
Here's
Yeah.
a 20. Yeah, seriously.
In fact, take the whole thing of Barks and get out of here right now.
God.
I feel like tipping is becoming more difficult because people don't carry cash.
Do you tip your barber?
I do, yeah.
You can, but you can tip,
stylist?
can't you tip them on the receipt, or do you have to tip them cash? I haven't gone to a barber
Well,
in
My
13
place
years.
takes my place takes only cash.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I give my guy
Shady.
$5.
I tip him on the card, but
But my haircut's 15
Oh,
or no,
I will not-
18 and my beard trim's 5.
I will
so
not say how much I pay for it.
you're like, Dawn, you guys are ridiculous.
It's the bougiest thing I do, and I don't care. Like I
Dawn pays like, it's
Dude,
like,
you have a daily face care routine.
yeah, I take good care. If I was just talking to my siblings on a Zoom chat on Saturday, my like number one legitimate fear is balding. It scares the hell out of me because if I lose the hair, okay, if I lose
a
this,
salad.
I'm done. I'm out. I got nothing else working up here.
But
So
you're
feel
not going to
like-
lose it very soon.
I feel like we may need to have some sort of like a hockey season. Declan, if he loses, I don't know what the bet is, but he has to
Bald?
shave his head type of a bet.
never,
You won't do it.
never. I had a buzz cut when I was like 12. That was probably the last time I had.
So
like,
how much does your haircut cost? Just tell us.
well, my gal's price goes up and up and up. Like
Okay,
it's
what's the
same
last you
stylist.
paid for?
What's the most you've paid for a haircut?
Before tip? $70.
Oh my god.
$70.
Oh my god.
70.
How's that working for you?
Works great. I see her. And by the way, like
What
I
does
get a
she
haircut.
do? I hope your hair can walk
Okay,
out of the
here's the
barber by
thing, though.
itself when
Here's
you're
the thing.
done
You
for
can
$70.
If you don't have a bottle opener, can your hair crack that bottle for you? Because that's the only way I'm paying $70.
I
By
mean,
the
you
way-
only get a haircut 5 times a year, right?
Man,
This
cuts
is free
his-
right here.
man cuts his own hair.
It's I get one every 8 to 10 weeks. That's about 5 to 6 times a year. So it's not that like I'd rather pay for the top quality of the haircut if I'm only going to do this 5 or 6 times a year. I'd rather fly with a nicer airline than have to do a cheap airline.
Yeah,
because I know what I'm getting.
I definitely agree with the concept that there's some things you don't skimp on. There's
No.
some things you do.
My guy's great, so I love
And I bet
my
he
guy.
is. I bet you have a great barber.
He's real
and
good.
and
He's
my
solid.
stylist, Katrina, is great. I will
My guy's
follow
not
the
a
ends of the earth.
stylist. Okay, let's go.
I will.
I have a barber. I don't have
Okay.
a stylist.
I will follow her to the ends of the
Ain't
earth.
nobody styling this hair.
Yeah.
Styling. I can see Judd. I want to see Judd, a little faux hawk
Yes.
at some point.
I had a nice haircut once. That was boring.
Was it for like 1500 ESPN Picture Day or something? back in the
I
day?
don't
Probably.
even remember, but it was very, very boring, and it will never happen again. It took too long.
By the way, Declan's hair adventures are brought to you by Federated Mutual Insurance Company. Now, as a business owner out there, how helpful would it be for you to have employee training at your fingertips, industry resources that can help your business reach another level of success? Well, that's why Federated Mutual Insurance Company recently launched MyShield, the online client destination for risk management resources. MyShield has resources to help your business with your risk management needs. If you're already a Federated Insurance client, well, what are you waiting for? Get registered today so you can jump on MyShield through federatedinsurance.com or download the app. If not, talk to your Federated marketing representative today. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. You ready for this, Declan?
Yes, I am ready for this.
All right. This is us about to play an outdated intro and Declan reviewing last night's women's tell-all episode of The Bachelor in 60 seconds or less.
And now, Phil Mackey updates Judd Zolgad on the latest happenings from The Bachelorette.
All right. Declan gets 60 seconds. Last night, a lot of drama last night.
Yeah. I think it was a diet level of drama. I don't think there's too much drama, in my opinion.
Okay. I don't want to stomp on your touchdown
Sure,
call
sure.
here, but there was one
Absolutely.
hilarious thing that we'll get to at some
Okay.
point. Here we go. 60 seconds on the clock.
All right, so it's the women's tell-all. Everyone comes back together. All the contestants that have been eliminated now gather in a room, Judd, and eventually they bring Matt out. And it starts with Jasenia is still salty over MJ, but it seems like the women honestly flipped more on the MJ side because it seemed like MJ was the villain, but not this time. All the other girls too, for whatever reason, gang up on Katie. Katie's like my favorite that's not named Michelle. And I didn't understand why everyone was ganging up on her. She stood up for everyone in the house, and then all of a sudden at the tell-all, people were just throwing crap at her. But bravo for Katie. She held her ground, okay? Piper and Serena C were coming after her, and I applauded. Victoria, still the worst human being of all time. I don't know if she is a producer plant, but she asks, are you an emotional person? No, Victoria. People just have brains and hearts, and they know how to use them, and you're just a terrible human being. Serena P still has regrets over saying goodbye to Matt. Matt comes back out and addresses the ladies for the first time with his James Harden look. And he does realize that even though him and Serena P had a difficult goodbye, it was the right decision to part ways.
Nice job. Nice
Thank you.
job. It's great stuff there.
Thank you.
A lot of drama. Yeah, Serena P is the one, Judd, that broke up with Matt, unprecedented last week. And she's, I think she feels like long-term, he isn't her person, but maybe she regrets the way that it played out. The best part of the episode last night is Chris Harrison has found himself in some hot water for supporting racist Rachel over the last
Yes.
couple weeks.
Yes.
And they had to put a disclaimer on the screen that
Also.
this episode was pre-taped on February 4th just as Chris Harrison comes out at the beginning of the Bachelor Tell-All.
So if you're
Hello,
going to
everyone.
be
I'm Chris Harrison.
offended he's there, you now know.
Across the screen, it says, this episode was previously recorded on February 4th.
Yeah, it's pretty awkward. Very, very awkward.
So that is your Bachelor update. Dex reviews.
So what's next?
The Bachelor.
So we got the Fantasy Suite.
Fantasy Suites next week.
Is that it, or is there another one after
Well,
that?
sometimes it is it.
Yeah.
But ordinarily it's Fantasy Suite week with 3 of them. And Fantasy Suite week means one by one, he gets to spend the night with each
The
woman.
Edina girl still there?
Yes,
Oh,
Michelle's
yeah.
there.
Michelle, okay.
I think she's the favorite. I'm a big fan of where Michelle's headed here.
Phil doesn't know if he agrees with you.
I
That's
think
fine.
I think her and Rachel. I think her and Rachel are in the mix there. I will say I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know what happens.
Yep.
But it feels a little fishy that Chris Harrison and other members of Bachelor Nation were so adamantly trying to protect racist Rachel. Almost like they knew that she had won the show and were trying to listen,
I like
hey,
it.
she's great.
I like
right?
it. That's a good theory.
Just saying. Why would you protect her if you knew that she didn't win the show?
Mhm.
If you're Chris Harrison. Just going to throw that out there.
No. Good
So,
point.
anyways.
Wow.
Mhm.
That is a great, that's Zolganian in conspiracy theory.
Let's look at
I
that.
like it.
We cover Wild, Twins, we cover Larry David moving and life moments, and we cover The Bachelor. I don't know what else you want.
Can't,
Are you not entertained?
I can't believe
Are you
had to
not
write- I
entertained?
can't believe you had to write checks out.
Checks. My last 2 checks ever. I was so nervous, like ripping the check out of the checkbook that I was going to rip it
Right.
in half too, and like not having a
Writing
second check.
checks is so weird now.
This month is the first month. I've been in my building for 4 years now. This is the first month we're finally doing online payments.
What?
I've been doing checks up until I've been using checks, and I'm almost out because I got a thing of checks in July of 2017
Wow.
when I moved in, and I'm almost out. And now finally
You can
in
pay.
2021 we can pay online, which I'm very thankful
Dude,
for.
wouldn't that be a pain in the ass if you're a
Oh.
landlord? I don't want
It's
like
awful.
100 checks coming
And
in every
also,
month.
like, I'll be honest, I'm pretty decent with like my money and my finances, but like it's a pain in the ass when like it's been a week past rent and you're still like that. There's a chunk of money still sitting in your checking account that like you have to do the math.
And you're buying booze?
and I'm buying,
and, like, you're trying to
runs
buy
the liquor stores,
The liquor store out of all its
Oh,
Corona hard
God.
sells
Yes,
Man.
yes.
and then you
That
got to
goes
factor in that pesky little check you wrote for
Yeah.
your
to live.
to your landlord.
Yeah.
What a show.
I can't believe that your young mover guys were like that weird about it.
It was uncomfortable.
I bet.
It was wild.
Well, the whole thing about trying to like set you up.
the noise at the end too. The
Yeah.
ooh.
Like, what if you had just said, you know what? Screw it. You're not getting a tip.
Yeah, then they probably stab every box and pee on them. I don't know. Like,
I don't know. Did you really like the stuff?
I mean,
If it's insured and
it is insured.
Okay, well then you know
That's
what? Then if it gets lost or destroyed, you got insurance money coming.
It's full on, and we did have a discussion. You know, if this truck on the way like went off the side
It
of a
blows.
mountain,
Let's
and
just say
blew
it
up,
blows up.
would we be okay? Yeah,
Okay.
we'd be okay.
Like
So is it just like a bed and an internet router right now in your apartment, and that's it?
It's an air mattress, an internet router, our cat Tommy,
Yep.
and 4 suitcases,
oh, you didn't
and
pack
then
Tommy up?
and then
Hey, just take the cat too.
we drove when I was
No tip.
when I was just out of college. My mom, who had been divorced from my dad for over a decade and a half, but they were still friends. When my dad moved to Arizona, his cat Norman, like he's the type of cat you cannot bring on a plane. Like you'd have
Great
to,
name
like,
for a cat.
Norman
Sedate
Rockwell.
it.
Norman.
Yep.
Have
So
to sedate the cat.
we actually drove Norman 30 hours down to Arizona, straight through. We just drove it.
You
My mom
drove?
and I drove Norman all the way down.
Norman.
So this
You
will be
and
the
Mom?
second time that we've drove a
Karate
cat
Kid,
across
like
the country.
man.
Yeah.
Karate Kid driving across the
was.
country.
Yep. Very exciting. That was my Daniel LaRusso moment.
Yeah. Way to go.
So anyhow, all right. Thanks for hanging out with us on Mackey and Judd today. Tomorrow, write that down, predictions and an accountability session.